Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6. Today, we're starting things off in our storage room because I just noticed that this lamp is on. And that's the first time that's happened. And I have to remind myself, I think, that this lamp is indicating that we're missing a shulker box in this segment here. Yes, or missing, we're out of stock. Okay. With a light gray one. This is so funny because I haven't really... Yeah, well, this system has been working so good that I haven't even had an error or a message about empty shulker boxes. But it makes total sense that we at some point run out of shulker boxes. And that warning there was because we are using our very last stone box for the order sorter. That is very cool to see that working. And now when we've restocked it, that is all good. I came here and I was like, wait a minute, that's not how it usually is. Oh, that is awesome. So everything is working then. I wonder how we're doing on like sand, because that's another thing. Oh no, we're what the heck? How do I have this many shulker boxes still in here? That's crazy. So last episode we started the works on a super smelter of doom, and since then I've actually done a little bit of work here in the base and decided to put this thing right here. I haven't actually built anything, but as you can see, I've had a massive dig out job, and right here is where I think I want to put the smelter. So I started digging out and then realized that we ran into the whole beacon control that I have over here, and I had to go up. And now my idea is that we're gonna be feeding the super smelter from the bottom and then sending the items upwards and smelting them on this upper layer here. So it's sort of gonna be a half vertical one, if you will. And of course the reason I want to feed the smelter from the bottom is because it's closest to the storage room. And let's be honest, like I said last time, everything comes down to usability. And speaking about usability, I just had a mega thought. An absolute mega thought. So the idea with this super smelter was to be able to input a shulker box. It was supposed to be a shulker box smelter, and as I do that, that shulker box then gets emptied, it gets smelted up, and it gets repacked into a shulker box. And that's cool, and I really like that. However, there are lots of situations, at least for me, when I come to my super smelter and I have a shulker box and then some. And how do we do that? Can we make a system? Oh, this would be so cool. So can we make a system where we put single items in and a shulker box, and then the system takes care of it? So it takes the shulker box, it unloads it, but it also takes the odd stacks and sends them to the smelter as well. I mean, that would be a 152% usability super smelter of doom. That would clearly be really, really cool if I could make it work. I do think, though, that to do such a thing, I'd have to sacrifice speed of the unloading. Because remember last time we checked out we worked on the different speed variables with unloading with minecart hoppers and stuff like that. And there's definitely going to have to be some sort of splitter between these two. And that may very well, or in my brain right now, that should very well slow the whole system down. But it may be worth it anyway. I think it's time to go into my creative test redstone world and see if we can come up with something. After a few hours of testing and building weird contraptions, I've come up with a really weird contraption. And this is it right here. We can actually get rid of this. This was only for test. This thing, so this would be the input panel in the base, in the lab, and then we would transport the items up because we have no space down there, and we would have our smelter array, one of these things that we built last time, over in this general area here. But the tricky part is the whole idea of being able to split a shulker box from a single type of item, and I think I've done it. I also feel like there gotta be a much easier way to do it than this. But I'm not sure. I'm reluctant to look at tutorials for these things. I want to do it myself, but that's a shulker box going up. It gets placed in there, and it should get emptied into the hopper underneath it. Yep, and then once that is empty, hopefully the system breaks it. Yep, and yeah, this is the issue I'm having. It's putting it into the wrong hopper. It should be putting it into this hopper, but it's not putting it into that hopper at the moment. But despite that, if I go again and I put, say, a shulker box in of 24 items, and let's also just put some sand in, we should see, hopefully, that this splits the items and the shulker box. Shulker box goes in, and then, as you can see, the items would just be shot out singularly, and we would have a block there, so all the items would end up in this hopper. So when the item or the shulker box comes up the stream, what happens is it goes into the dispenser. It then determines if it's a shulker box or not based on this comparator here, because if it is a shulker box, this comparator will turn on, locking this little circuit here, and this is essentially just a clock that powers the dispenser. But the cool thing with this clock is that it gets locked if there's something placed, which means that it will turn back on again whenever a shulker box is emptied and destroyed or removed out of the way. And that clock also makes sure that it works with a single item. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But like I said, I feel like I've overdone this again. I feel like I've very much overdone this. I have an idea that may work, but it feels a little bit risky because of the dispenser again shooting items out like all over the place. So this may not solve the idea of having items in the wrong hopper, but it may solve the idea of always getting the shulker box in the right box. And it involves locking this hopper for a split second when the shulker box is broken, so that it can't pick up the shulker box, and then this hopper would be the only thing that can pick it up. That should be all good, because yeah, items will continue to flow. But now, ooh, yes, okay, that worked. That actually worked. And with 4 shulker boxes, it actually split it perfectly. Again though, there has to be an easier way of doing this. I thought I could use a shulker box in some way, but I couldn't get the timings right, so I did something over here. Because shulker boxes cannot go in other shulker boxes, I thought we could easily split it out by doing this. But this would again sacrifice a lot of speed. So if I put sand in here, unfortunately, it will go into the shulker box, but it will also go down there. So you can see 5 made it through before this lock started, because this is just locking the hopper underneath. I could make that lock a little bit quicker respond, but that still would still slow the whole system down, which I don't want to do. So this works. Now the problem is, if I were to have sand in here, we're gonna get sand in this shulker box, I'm pretty sure, or in this hopper, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, 1 sand made it in there. Okay, this would be very, 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 very ugly redstone right now. But if we work off of the idea of having this hopper locked at all times, unless or except for when a shulker box is broken, we may be able to work this out. So that worked perfectly. And there's no way an item can go in this hopper at the moment. If I would throw a redstone dust on top there, you can see that that doesn't go in. So that's all good. Now, the question is if this would unlock it long enough or quick enough for that shulker box to be picked up. So I got 4 in there. And yep, that did it. That did it right there. That did it. Oh my goodness. So here's another attempt at this. Instead of pushing them straight to the right, because hoppers suck quicker than they push, I'm gonna try this method here, but I may have to have that hopper facing downwards. But let's see what happens, because this should then give it 1 tick extra to move the shulker box out of the hopper, which is what we want. So let's see. Okay, that gets broken, gets picked up, and nice! That worked. That did the trick. That did the trick. Unfortunately though, for some reason the first part of this now failed. And there was a shulker box in there. What the heck? How is that even a thing at this point in time? I am so confused. I had that all worked out with this little observer blocking this hopper for a second. Yeah, that went well. Okay, that worked out exactly how it's supposed to be, but it needs to be 152% correct. Otherwise we're gonna run into issues. Anyway, I feel like I should move on from this project for today. It is a really cool little concept, and maybe this circuit is way overdone. Like, maybe there's a way smarter way of doing it, but I am very proud of this little clock circuit that locks itself. But if you guys who are geniuses, absolutely superb at redstone, got a better idea than I do, then please do let me know down below in the comments, or tweet it to me at Iskall85 on Twitter. That's probably the best way. I'll probably be able to see it then. Tweet screenshots or world downloads or whatever, if you can come up with a solution, and I'll be keen to check that out. But we got some other stuff that I want to get done on the Hermitcraft server today, and I've already spent over 5 hours on this contraption, so I feel like it's time that I move on for today. It is getting a bit laggy over at Sahara. I haven't been here in a few days, and to be honest, I mean, what is going on with my frames? I'm down to like 60 FPS here. This is bad. But regardless of that, I actually had a meeting with Mumbo, and we talked about the things that he has been doing here since I last sort of installed the decoders the other day, and he has installed the rail to send the orders all the way back to the shopping front. Does that end? Does that end randomly? No, it seems to be going all the way. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is all installed by the look of things. We only have the selection panel done. The way to order them would be to power this block here, I believe. Oh yeah, there's even a button on it. Okay, so once that gets powered, that's gonna pulse out a minecart, which is then gonna be chilling there, and these hoppers are going to be loading it with the items. So he's got all of these item streams done as well. Yeah, this is looking absolutely great. He has done loads. And all of this is great. It is great news. It means that we are making massive progress still on the Sahara project. However, we still haven't really considered the payment system, or we still haven't implemented the payment system. And so what I think I'll do is try and work something out. And I actually had an idea with these droppers the other day. I just sort of have to remind myself of what that idea actually was, because yeah, I can't remember right now. Okay, so here's the deal. These droppers are essentially what's going to hold the IOU notes that will be sent back to the customer to tell the customer how many diamonds they owe. So let's take this as an example. This was let's just say that this is cyan terracotta or cyan clay. They've made the order, and they've made per every key card they send in, they will get one set of these, and one set could be whatever we specify it as. That's why we have the warehouse loaders on top. So as you guys remember, these modules are all built to be able to control the quantity. So for example, if one set in this orange one may be 4 stacks, whereas in the yellow one we may configure it to be one set is just 1 stack. So we're going to be working in sets, and that's really, really important. It's not a stack, it's actually a set, and a set is whatever we determine it to be. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I understand it sounds a bit confusing, but it's really important in order for me to explain this next part. So anyway, per set we also need payment. And the reason we have it per set is of course because we want to be able to sell things cheaper than 1 diamond a stack. So let's say that a set of terracotta in this example is 4 stacks. Every time a set is ordered, this dropper would get powered through the decoder. This dropper would also get powered, which is the receipt item, or the keycard item, and this redstone line would get powered, indicating or sending a signal back to the 3rd lamp back at Sahara. So with all that in mind, what I'm planning on doing is having little notes put into each one of these droppers. So we go ahead and put a dropper on each of the decoders, and then we'll have a note in each of these representing whatever the cost of the set is. And then back to the customer, once you made a multi-order, you may end up having like 6 of these receipts, if you will, and then you can add together what you owe as a customer and then put that in the payment chest. I think that payment system is really cool because it also gives the customer sort of a, yeah, I guess a receipt, because it will say what they've ordered. Now this was just an example. If you do have suggestions in how to format this, please do let me know down below in the comments, because I'm notoriously bad at formatting stuff. This would be 6 diamonds and the specifications would be cyan clay, but I'm sure there are a lot neater ways to do that, so do let me know down below in the comments. But anyway, the next stage would be to send this stuff on ice to a... Oh, over here actually. You know what? Oh, I just got a sweet idea. This is the minecart rail with the minecart that gets loaded with your order. So this comes down, whenever it's ready, it comes down here. Now what we could do is we could stop it here on this rail and load it with all the different receipts, or the one receipt if the customer just ordered one set. Yeah, I think that would be really, really cool and actually pretty clever. So I've installed a little bit of a weird loader system over there on top of or interacting with Mumbo's rail. And this should work. All I need to do is fill in this with glass so that we can water stream this. Ooh. Okay, I gotta be a little bit careful. So that should wash the receipt items into this hopper, and then this system is just checking this hopper for items. If there are items in here, this rail is not powered, but if there are no items in it, so if all the receipts have been taken out, this should be powered. What have I done here? Okay. Oh my goodness, there we go. So I should be able to do that. We want that to be as little delay as possible as well. I messed up the redstone there basically. Let's put a glowstone here as well. I have had way too many mobs spawn and been scarily close to blowing part of this warehouse up. But yeah, we should be able to test this. Well, I guess we could put a key card order in, but because Mumbo hasn't wired up the order system, we can't really do much more than that. But the minecart should definitely work here. Maybe I should make myself a temporary minecart. I just realized I didn't actually check what the first item is, but it used to be cyan terracotta. I don't know if I've redone that system, but in theory we should be able to order that, and that should trigger the paper note or the receipt to be sent to that hopper. Hopefully. So we're going to try that first. And by the way, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who suggested that we should use the amount of key cards as the stock. I spoke with Mumbo about that. He absolutely loves the idea. So basically, instead of sending all the key cards back to the chest automatically, we can just have a number of key cards corresponding to the stock we have at Sahara, and that is actually really good. It's a very, very clever and intuitive way to do the whole thing. Stock keeping, that is. Well, let's come down here and see if this has worked. So yeah, there's our order that has been shot out, and this would be the key card, right? Yeah. So instead of shooting this out into the open, me and Mumbo discussed having these water streams here come down to a joint chest, which would probably give the job to Grian to keep a check on the stock. But that also allows us to have like weekly meetings in our conference room about how we've sold and of what item we've sold the most, etc. We should be able to see all that, which is super cool. But anyway, in here, yep, there's the correct receipt. So we did order the cyan clay. It was 6 diamonds for the set in this example, and everything seems to be working. That rail is also shut off, so that means when this minecart comes down, it should just be chilling there. I should really test that before I say that it's all done. Now this is actually also linked up to the items that we bought. Now of course this is going to be shulker boxes and not a single cyan terracotta, but that's what I have configured. So if we would have had a minecart here, this would have worked, but that minecart only gets sent there. Oh yeah, I think we missed it, but I think it stopped long enough to pick up that receipt. So let's see it come all the way back to Sahara. And I love the idea of being able to see that minecart traveling. It looks so derpy though. It looks so very derpy. And here it comes. It should go down here. And yep, it did shoot the thing out. Okay, so here's the thing though. Here's a little thing that I overlooked. We may need to separate the shulker box from the receipt before this dispenser gets powered. But everything definitely seemed to work with Mumbo's redstone here, which, I mean, that's not a shocker really. The man is a master at redstone. I just have to speak with him about how we separate the receipt. I'm thinking we just have a non-stackable item filter that the minecart runs over. And that can then suck out the... Yeah, it could just suck out the receipts. That would be simple, very straightforward. And then the receipts, in turn, would like be put into a chest next to this or some sort of payment chest. And I think that will work out really, really well. Collect Sahara receipts. Maybe that's a thing. Hashtag collect the receipts. You know, people can brag about what they bought at Sahara. I really like it. It's very unique. It's very new. I'm super excited that I did it this way. I've been testing this receipt system a little bit more, and I gotta say, it is so very elegant. It's so very elegant, together with the idea of the key cards being stored in a chest so that we can do like market research and all that stuff. I think Grian specifically will really like that idea. I want to do one more thing here that we are currently missing, and that is hooking up our last indicator lamp or progress lamp for the shop front. So my lamp system is, oh, I'm so lost in this redstone. My lamp system is right over there. So this may be very stupid, but I sort of pictured the pulse of the, or the final sort of indicator for the customer to be right before the minecart dimps down. And so if I have a detector rail here, I mean, that's basically gonna switch the lamps at the same time the minecart arrives, or even a little bit after. But I still think we should do it for consistency's sake. So I have to try and wire that up to hit that line and to hit, like I said, this line over here. And that should do it. So I'm powering that line with quite a bit of delay, and I'm powering this line with a lot less delay, which first resets it. And that should hopefully be good enough. It's going to be a little bit tricky to test this though, because yeah, once again, we don't have the order system installed yet. So the system is currently reset. We make our order, and the first lamp should turn on immediately, reaching the warehouse any minute, any second. We definitely need music for this. Yeah, reached the warehouse, selected the cell. Yep, okay, good. It scared me there for a second. And like I said, the last thing should be triggered off the minecart. So in theory, that part is already hooked up. The only part that isn't hooked up is the actual sending of the minecart. And I just realized that the one minecart I have is sat over here. So I should probably bring that back. I gotta be honest, guys, Sahara is such a massive mega project, and I'm so happy to be doing it with Grian and Mambo, and just having this shared mega project. I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'm really enjoying every single little module and little thing we install and do with this project. But it is, yeah, like I said, it is definitely mega. Anyway, so in the final version, this minecart would drop down, and that would pick up the receipt. We actually saw it this time, and now I'm gonna try and beat that minecart to the shop front. Definitely beating it much faster than the minecart is. So now we should see if this works. But like I said, the minecart will have dropped before this switches. Any second now. Oh no, here it comes. And the lamp switched to the final state of your order. Very, very, very nice. And then we could have something like whenever this shulker box is emptied or broken, that's when the order system resets. We can just take the signal from this comparator, and that would make that happen. That's wonderful! So the progress bar is fully working. The receipts are fully working. I'm super happy. And yeah, like I said, I hope that the other guys like this as well. I'm pretty sure that they will. I did speak with Mambo about the receipt system, and he's absolutely in love with it. So that's fantastic. It's a very elegant way of doing it. But with all that being done, I think that's going to be it for me today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, do hit the like button down below. And if you're brand new, consider subscribing. And I will see you dudes in the next episode.